Brandon and his girlfriend Rachel stumbled across this old SML episode buried somewhere on their YouTube channel. SML, yeah, one of those plushy channels from back in the day. Honestly, we couldn't believe it was still up after all these years, lurking in some forgotten playlist like a digital fossil. We hit play, expecting some cringy puppet antics, but within seconds, a pair of Jeffy's hands shot right out of the TV, grabbed us, and yanked us straight into the screen. Suddenly, the world around us looked way too familiar, cartoonish, colorful, almost too bright, but with this weird sense of menace humming underneath. "No way, is this the SML universe?" Rachel blurted out, her eyes huge and darting all over the room. I glanced over and said, "Rachel, don't freak out, but I think you're a puppet now." She screamed, "So are you!" Instinctively, I looked down, and sure enough, my hands were covered in felt, fingers stubby and stuffed. We were both puppets, transformed in an instant. And there he was, Jeffy himself, just lounging on that classic red couch, staring at us with those vacant, googly eyes that didn't look so funny up close. Except Jeffy wasn't cracking jokes or being goofy anymore. He looked like some warped mashup of Child's Play and Peppermint Park, stitched together, with a plastic smile that seemed to stretch way too wide. Both of those things are pure nightmare fuel on their own, but together, it felt like we'd landed in the middle of some unholy puppet ritual. Then Jeffy started laughing, but it wasn't the usual high-pitched giggle. It was deep, guttural, almost demonic, echoing around the room. "You want to play with Jeffy?" he growled, picking his nose like nothing was weird about the situation. Rachel made a face. "You, disgusting!" I snapped. "Hell no, you shithead!" Jeffy's eyes went wild, rolling up in his head, and then he wailed. "You called Jeffy a shithead?" Suddenly he started bawling in this over-the-top, nightmarishly loud way, like a siren made out of child screams and static. That's when Rose walked in, all sweet and oblivious, saying, "What's wrong, Jeffy?" And then Marvin showed up too, his face set in that exhausted dad expression. "Are these kids picking on you?" Before we could even react, the whole SML cast piled in, dozens, maybe hundreds, of those demonic plush puppets, all crowding around, staring at us with those soulless, cartoon eyes. Rachel tried to play it cool. "I mean, I look adorable, but I really don't want to die here." I told her not to sweat it. We'd been through crazier stuff. Like, we survived a 24-episode haunted video game arc where Mario was the villain, and we actually took him down in the end. If we could beat that, we could handle this. Suddenly, I felt this weird, warm energy start building up inside me, like every muscle in my puppet body was vibrating with power. Before I knew it, I was screaming, and golden light exploded around me. I was turning into a Super Saiyan, just like in Dragon Ball Z, but with floppy puppet hair blasting upward. Rachel just cracked up and joined right in, her own golden aura flaring up. "Oh my god, I'm even cuter now," she said, checking out her new, supercharged puppet look and flexing her fuzzy arms. Jeffy didn't even blink. He cackled. "So you want a Dragon Ball Z battle? You got one!" And then, with a chorus of manic shouts, every puppet in the room powered up at once, golden hair sprouting everywhere. The room was filled with the sound of energy crackling and puppets screaming at the top of their lungs. Somewhere in the chaos, I heard Cody mutter, "That's hot." And yeah, it sounded exactly how you'd expect, awkward and weirdly enthusiastic. Suddenly, the room exploded into chaos. Puppets rushed at us from every direction, flailing their stuffed arms as they came. But just as things seemed totally overwhelming, a bright, blue laser cut through the melee and blasted straight through Rose's head. 1 second she was there, the next, gone in a puff of plush stuffing. My robotic dog Goddard strutted in like he owned the place, metal gleaming, apparently having cobbled together some kind of portal to bust us out. I couldn't help but grin. This was about to get legendary. I'll admit it, I lived for these haunted showdowns ever since we took down Mario. There's something about facing your nightmares head-on and coming out swinging. I started blasting puppets left and right, ki energy whirling from my hands. Rachel let loose a perfect Kamehameha, a wave of pure energy that wiped out a whole crowd in one go, sending felt limbs flying. Then, out of nowhere, Mr. Goodman stormed in, waving a gun and shouting about overdue house payments, demanding cash in his usual, greedy tone. "That greedy son of a bitch," I muttered. But then, in a flash of light, he transformed into a money scion, golden hair made of dollar bills, and started firing cash at us like bullets. $100 bill caught my hand. "I think I just got a paper cut," I said, shaking it off, even as my felt skin split just a little. Goddard didn't waste a second. He targeted Mr. Goodman and incinerated him with a searing blast, leaving nothing but a smoking pile of singed felt and a few floating bills. Rachel was busy trading blows with Junior, Joseph, and Cody. Cody flexed, showing off his puppet muscles, but Rachel just flicked him aside with one finger, sending him spinning across the set. "Is that all you've got?" she shouted, zapping Junior and Joseph with finger beams that vaporized them instantly. Then Jackie Chu burst onto the scene yelling, "Two in the pink and one in the stink," and fired a beam of energy right at Rachel's back. I tried to get to her, moving faster than ever with my super scion speed, but I was just a split second too slow. That's when Goddard leapt between her and the blast, taking the full hit. He was gone in an instant, his metal frame collapsing in a heap, sacrificing himself for Rachel without hesitation. Rage exploded inside me, raw and unstoppable. I powered up even further, Ultra Instinct now, shimmering with silver light. My senses sharpened, the world slowed down, and I felt like I could move anywhere, dodge anything. I zipped around so fast the puppets couldn't even track me, launching key blasts in every direction, flipping over the couch and through the kitchen, leaving a trail of shredded felt. Then Richard, Mr. Goodman's spoiled son, rolled up in a tank, hair slicked back, yelling, "You'll pay for killing my father!" He fired a missile straight at us, but I knocked it right back with a single punch, blowing him and the whole tank up in a massive fireball that shook the whole set. I turned back and finished Jackie Chu with one punch, sending him flying off into the void. Rachel took out Marvin and that creepy puppet, Mr. Winkle, blasting them into dust. At this point, nobody felt safe, not even the background extras. All that was left was Jeffy. I caught a glimpse of Brooklyn guy sprinting for his life across the set, but Rachel blasted his head off before he could make it to the door, leaving only his legs twitching in the hallway. Jeffy started to scream, his voice rising and echoing like a demon trapped in a wind tunnel, and he began to grow, bigger and bigger, towering over us, his felt body stretching and twisting into some monstrous version of himself. "Eat my ass!" he bellowed, charging at us with impossible speed, hands outstretched. He smashed Rachel so hard she flew back at lightning speed, slamming into the wall. I heard the sickening crack of her puppet bones. Then Jeffy swung at me, but I dodged, feeling that pulsing ultra instinct energy coursing through me, and with one perfect slash of my glowing hand, I sliced his arm clean off, felt and stuffing spraying everywhere. Jeffy let out a scream, wild with pain and rage, a sound so raw it rattled through my bones and made the hairs on my arms stand up. He glared at us, eyes burning with a fury that looked like it could split the world in two. For a heartbeat, I thought he might actually try, his fists clenched, chest heaving, every muscle in his puppet body straining to break free from reality itself. Rachel limped over, her face twisted in a wince with each step, blood oozing from a cut on her shin. "We need to finish this, now. I need a break," she muttered through gritted teeth, forcing herself into a fighting stance that was equal parts fierce and honestly, kind of hot. I could see the determination in her eyes, the way she squared her shoulders, refusing to let exhaustion or pain slow her down. "Ready," I said, trying to keep the tremor out of my voice, and Rachel just nodded, her jaw set. We both shot straight at Jeffy, adrenaline burning away everything but the need to win. The world narrowed to the three of us, and the chaos around us. Jeffy's face twisted into a mask of pure hatred, and he bellowed, "I hate green beans!" The words echoed, shaking dust from the rafters. He charged at us, wild and reckless, but Rachel and I grabbed onto each other, locking arms. We spun faster and faster, our bodies blurring into a single force, A human missile powered by desperation and teamwork. For a split second, time seemed to slow. We could see the terror flicker in Jeffy's eyes as we hurtled toward him. Then we hit him dead center, right through the heart. The impact was brutal, a shockwave of energy and sound, and it was over in an instant. The battlefield was a mess, cotton stuffing spilling out like snow, streaks of blood pooling in the carpet, and bits of whatever those demonic puppets are made from scattered everywhere, as if a tornado had ripped through a toy factory. The air buzzed with the leftover charge of battle. My hands were shaking, but I couldn't tell if it was from fear, relief, or just the adrenaline. And just like that, the TV spat us out, and we tumbled back into our living room, landing in a heap on the hardwood floor. The sudden silence was jarring, as if the entire universe had paused to catch its breath. That was intense. Rachel groaned, her voice muffled by the pillow as she dragged herself onto the bed without another word. Her breathing was ragged, shoulders slumping as the fight drained out of her. I just stood there for a moment, staring at the flickering blue glow of the television, half expecting something else to crawl out. Finally, I went out back and buried what was left of Goddard under the old oak tree, the dirt cool and damp beneath my fingers. The fight was awful, and the scars ran deeper than I wanted to admit, but deep down, I knew it wasn't really over. Something about the silence felt uneasy, like the calm before another storm.